Look at the corner of your kitchen right now. The counter you wiped clean this morning. The one already covered again by dinner. You scrub. It comes back. You scrub again. And somehow the house never stays quiet for more than a day. I lived like that for years. I thought I was just bad at keeping house. I was wrong. Everything changed when I started copying small Japanese cleaning habits. Not big renovations, not expensive gadgets. Tiny moves that take seconds and save me hours every single week. These work because Japanese homes are small, shared, and built around keeping order without fighting for it. The methods are old, tested for generations. Almost none of them cost a thing. I am going to give you 15 of them. They get better as we go. And the very last one, a nearly free trick that came out of old tatami rooms, changed my whole floor routine more than anything else I have ever tried. Stay with me, because it works even if you rent, even in a tiny apartment, even if you can't drill a single hole. Let me start where the dirt actually starts. The front door. The first habit is the one most Americans get completely backward. In Japan, you take your shoes off before you step inside, not as a polite gesture, as the foundation of a clean home. There is a sunken entryway called the genkan, a small dropped floor right at the door, and shoes never cross that line. Here is why it matters more than you think. Researchers who study indoor dirt say the large majority of the grime, dust, and outdoor chemicals in a home walks in on the bottom of our shoes. Pollen, lawn treatment, street oil, bathroom floor bacteria from every public place you visited. You carry all of it across your carpet and drop it exactly where your kids sit and play. I did not believe one habit could matter that much. So I tested it. I put a small basket by my door, set out a pair of house slippers, and made a hard rule that shoes stop at the mat. Within 2 weeks, my floors stayed clean days longer. I was sweeping half as often. The dark line along my hallway rug simply stopped forming. You do not need a genkan built into your floor. A mat, a low bench, and a basket recreated in any apartment. Shoes off, dirt stays at the door, therefore the whole rest of your cleaning gets easier before you even pick up a rag. But keeping dirt out is only step one. What about the mess that builds up inside, all on its own? That brings me to the second habit, and it is the one that quietly rescued my evenings. The Japanese have a practice of the nightly reset. Before bed, you spend a few short minutes returning the main room to zero. Cushions straight, surfaces cleared, everything back to its home. It sounds almost too small to bother with. That is exactly why it works. In Japan, cleaning is not seen as a giant weekend event you dread. Children clean their own classrooms every day in a practice called osoji, wiping floors and desks, so that tidying becomes as normal as brushing your teeth. The lesson underneath it is simple. Small and daily beats big and rare. I used to let the mess grow all week, then lose an entire Saturday clawing it back. Now I set a timer for 10 minutes after dinner. I clear the coffee table, fold the throw blanket, carry stray cups to the sink. That is it. I wake up to a calm room instead of yesterday's chaos, and I have not lost a Saturday to cleaning in months. 10 minutes a night, waking up to a home that is already reset. But here is what I did not understand back then. The reason my home fought me so hard was never really about effort. If you want to go deeper into these methods and keep them all in one place, I put everything together in my digital book, Clean Slate. It covers the full system behind these habits, including the ones I could not fit into a single video. It also pulls in the principles from Deep Order and the Clean System, so you have a complete step-by-step reference you can return to any time. You can find it linked in the description below. Now let us get back to the habits, because there is an entire industry built on selling you the feeling that one more bin, one more shelf, one more clever gadget will finally fix it. It never does, because a product that actually solved your clutter would mean you stop buying products. That is the quiet trap. And Japanese methods work precisely because they lean on habits and simple tools instead of an endless shopping cart. Which leads me to the third trick, and it will make you look at your cleaning cloth differently forever. Forget the pile of paper towels. In Japan, the humble cleaning cloth is called a zokin, and it does the work of an entire aisle of products. It is just a flat rectangle of cotton, often an old towel sewn down into something sturdy. Damp, wrung tight, folded into a neat square. That is the whole tool. Here is why the technique beats what most of us do. A folded cloth gives you 8 clean surfaces. You wipe with one face, fold to a fresh one, keep going, and you are never smearing dirt back around the way a single soggy paper towel does. There is a whole tradition of wiping by hand, low and close, so you actually see the grime you are lifting. Nothing gets missed. I keep 3 damp zokin cloths ready in a small bin. One for counters, one for the table, one for quick floor spots. When they are dirty, they go in the wash and come out ready again. I stopped buying paper towels by the case. I stopped spraying chemical mist over every surface. And my counters have honestly never been cleaner because I am wiping with fabric that grips dust instead of pushing it around. A folded cloth, 8 clean faces, 0 waste, simple. But damp wiping raises a bigger problem, and it is the one room where moisture turns into your worst enemy. The fourth trick lives in the bathroom, and it solves the thing everyone silently battles: mold. In Japan, the bath area is treated with real care, and one small habit prevents almost all of it. After the last person showers, you wipe the walls down. There is even a word tied to this idea of cutting the water: mizukiri, removing the moisture before it can settle. The reason is pure logic. Mold in that pink film needs standing water and time. Take away the water and you take away their entire world. Japanese bathrooms are often designed as a full wet room, so keeping surfaces dry between uses is second nature, not a chore. I hung a cheap squeegee inside my shower on a suction hook. When I turn the water off, I spend 20 seconds pulling the glass and tiles dry from top to bottom. Then I leave the door open so air moves through. My grout stopped darkening. That pink ring around the drain never comes back. I have not scrubbed shower mold in over a year, and I used to fight it every weekend. 20 seconds of wiping erases hours of future scrubbing. Therefore, the smallest habit protects you from the ugliest job. But wiping down the walls is only half of what keeps that room fresh, and the other half is something most people leave undone every day. The fifth trick continues in the bathroom, and it costs nothing at all: air. In Japan, keeping the bathroom ventilated is treated as part of cleaning it, not something separate. The fan runs, the window cracks, the door stays open when the room is empty so damp air can escape. Why does this matter so much? Because a closed, wet bathroom is a sealed box where humidity has nowhere to go, and that trapped moisture feeds everything you do not want, from mildew smell to warped caulk. Moving air is the free deodorizer nobody sells you, because you cannot put it in a bottle. I made one change. I run my exhaust fan for a full 15 minutes after every shower, and I stopped keeping the bathroom door sealed shut all day. The stale smell that used to greet me every morning is gone. No plug-in, no spray, just air doing the work it was always going to do for free, fresh air instead of a chemical cover-up. But since we are talking about doing the work without a cabinet full of products, let me show you what the Japanese actually clean with, because it will save you real money. The sixth trick is a 2-ingredient swap that replaced almost every spray bottle under my sink. In Japan, 2 humble cleaners do enormous work: baking soda, known as huso, and citric acid, known as quinsan. Between them, they handle a shocking amount of the house. Here is the reasoning, and it is simple chemistry, not magic. Baking soda is a mild base, so it lifts grease and scrubs gently without scratching. Citric acid is a mild acid, so it dissolves the hard white mineral crust that builds on faucets, kettles, and shower heads. Grease is one problem, mineral scale is the other, and these two split the work between them. I mix baking soda with a little water into a paste for my stovetop and sink. I keep a spray bottle of citric acid and water for the bathroom fixtures and the inside of my electric kettle. The white buildup on my faucet dissolves while I make coffee. 2 cheap bags of powder now do what 6 different bottles used to do, and neither one leaves a harsh smell behind. 2 powders, almost the entire house. But there is one surface. These do not shine the way I want, and the Japanese fix for it is sitting in your recycling bin right now. The 7th trick is for glass, and it made me laugh at how obvious it was in Japan. An old and trusted way to clean windows and mirrors is with crumpled newspaper, not paper towels, newspaper. The reason it works so well is the paper itself. Newspaper is dense and lint-free, so it does not leave the fuzzy streaks and little fibers that paper towels smear across glass. The texture buffs the surface to a clear shine, and the slight give in the paper grabs grime instead of pushing it around. I spray my mirror with a little of that citric acid water, then wipe it with a crumpled sheet of newspaper. No streaks, no lint, a clear, squeaky clean finish that used to take me 2 products and a microfiber cloth to get. It costs nothing, and it keeps the paper out of the trash for one more useful job first. Free glass cleaning from something you were about to throw away. Now we have covered surfaces and rooms, but the deeper reason your home feels heavy is not dirt at all. It is the sheer amount of stuff, and the next tricks go after that directly. The 8th trick changed how I open my dresser every morning. It is the vertical fold. Instead of stacking shirts flat in a pile, you fold each one into a small standing rectangle and stand it up on its edge so the drawer looks like a row of files. Why does something so small matter? Because in a flat stack, you can only see the top item, and every time you pull one from the middle, the whole pile collapses. Standing them up means you see every single piece at a glance, like books on a shelf. Nothing gets buried. Nothing gets forgotten at the bottom until it is wrinkled beyond wearing. I refolded one drawer this way as a test. Now I can see all of my shirts at once. I stopped rebuying clothes I already owned but could not find. The drawer holds more, not less, because standing items pack tighter than sloppy stacks. Getting dressed went from digging to choosing, and it took me one afternoon to convert every drawer in the house. You see everything. You lose nothing. You stop buying doubles. But folding clothes better only helps if you are not drowning in too many to begin with. So how do you decide what actually stays? The 9th trick is a mindset the Japanese put into a single word, and it is stronger than any organizing hack. Dan Shari. It breaks into 3 ideas. Dan, to refuse what you do not need coming in. Sha, to dispose of the excess you already hold. Re, to separate yourself from the desire to keep piling up. What makes this different from just decluttering is the first part. Refusing. Most advice tells you to organize what you already own, but that only rearranges the problem. Dan Cherry says the real fix is stopping the flow of stuff at the door, so you are not endlessly managing things that never should have entered. I started saying no. No to the free tote bag. No to the sample I would never use. No to buying storage for things I did not actually want to keep. Then I went shelf by shelf and released what I was only holding out of guilt. My home got lighter. And here is the part that surprised me. The less I owned, the less time I spent cleaning around it, because every object you keep is an object you have to dust, move, and store. Refuse first, release second, and let go of the wanting. That is the whole battle. But there is a beautiful Japanese tool that makes owning less feel generous instead of empty, and it replaces a drawer full of clutter with a single square of cloth. The 10th trick is the furoshiki, a simple square of fabric used to wrap and carry almost anything. A gift, a lunch, a stack of books, groceries. One cloth folds and knots around them all, then folds flat to nothing when you are done. The idea goes back centuries, when people used these cloths at the bath and to carry their goods. And the beauty is that one object replaces dozens. Think of how many gift bags, plastic sacks, and half-crushed boxes you are storing right now for a someday that rarely comes. A furoshiki does all their jobs and then disappears into a drawer as a single flat square. I keep a few in different sizes. I wrap gifts with them, and often the cloth becomes part of the gift. I carry bulky things without hunting for a bag. When I am done, there is nothing to store, nothing to crumple into that overflowing bag of bags every kitchen seems to grow. One cloth, endless uses, zero clutter left behind. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking right about now. This is all lovely for a house, but I rent, I share my space, I cannot drill holes or knock down walls or change a thing. So this next part is for you, and I mean it, because the smallest homes are where these tricks matter most. The 11th trick is the one that gave my tiny spaces real storage without a single hole in the wall. In Japan, where apartments are famously compact, the tension rod is everywhere. They call it a tsuparibu, a spring-loaded pole that wedges itself between two walls by pressure alone. No screws, no drilling, no landlord permission. Here is why it is genius in a rental. It turns empty air into a shelf. The dead vertical space above a counter, inside a cabinet, under the sink, across a narrow closet, all of it becomes usable in seconds and comes down, leaving no mark behind. I put one under my kitchen sink and hung all my spray bottles from it by their triggers, freeing the whole floor of that cabinet. I put another inside a cabinet to divide it and stand my cutting boards upright. When I move, they twist right out and the walls are perfect. I stopped believing I needed built-in storage. I just needed to use the air I already had. Storage from thin air, nothing drilled, nothing lost when you leave. But height is only one kind of wasted space in a small home, and the 12th trick attacks the space we all ignore completely. The 12th trick is about the backs of doors, and it doubled my storage in the rooms that had none to spare. In Japanese small space design, no surface is wasted, and the flat plane of a door is prime real estate, hiding in plain sight. Over-the-door hooks and racks that simply hang on the top edge turn every door into a cabinet. The reason this works so well in a rental is that it attaches to nothing permanent. The rack lifts right off, no adhesive, no hardware, no damage. And a door is a surface you walk past a dozen times a day, so whatever hangs there is always within reach. I hung a slim rack over my bathroom door for towels, and another inside my closet door for shoes and small bags. Suddenly the crowded shelves breathed again, because half of what lived on them moved to the door. My bathroom, which had no cabinet at all, finally had a home for the towels that used to live in a heap on the toilet tank. Every door becomes storage, and you take it all with you when you go. So even the smallest, most locked down rental can run like a well-planned Japanese apartment. But organizing space is one thing. There is still a smarter way to actually clean it. And the 13th trick fixes the order most of us get wrong every single time. The 13th trick is about direction, and once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Always clean from the top down. This is baked into the old Japanese year-end deep clean called osoji, and into the temple ritual of susuharai, the great soot sweeping where the highest beams and rafters are cleared first, working steadily downward to the floor. The reasoning is almost embarrassingly simple. Dust falls. If you clean the floor first and then wipe the shelves, all the dust you knock loose drifts straight down onto the floor you just finished, and you get to do it twice. Start high and low, and gravity works for you instead of against you. I changed my whole routine to obey it. Sealing corners and light fixtures first, then shelves and picture frames, then counters and furniture. The floor comes dead last, catching everything that fell along the way. I stopped redoing rooms. One pass, top to bottom, and it is actually done. It cut my cleaning time nearly in half. And it never occurred to me that the order was the thing slowing me down. Top to bottom, one pass, done. But there is one more habit that keeps a whole home tidy without ever feeling like a chore, and it is the secret behind why Japanese homes stay clean between the big cleans. The 14th trick is a mindset called tsuide soji, which means cleaning as you go, cleaning in passing. Instead of saving mess for a dedicated cleaning session, you fold tiny cleaning moments into things you already do. You are already there, so you wipe as you pass. Why is this so powerful? Because the big cleaning session is what we all dread and avoid, and avoidance is how mess grows into a mountain. If dirt never gets the chance to build up, the mountain never forms, and you never face that overwhelming reset that eats a whole day. I keep a cloth by the sink and wipe the basin while I wait for the kettle. I squeegee the shower while the conditioner sits in my hair. I wipe the counter as I wait for food to heat. None of it feels like cleaning because it is folded into a minute I was going to spend anyway. My home stays at a steady, easy clean, and the dreaded deep clean day has almost disappeared from my life. Cleaning stops being an event and becomes a rhythm. Every trick so far has quietly built toward this last one. Because now that dirt stays out, surfaces stay clear, and clutter is gone, there is one final method that transformed the single job I hated most. My floors, here is the 15th trick, the one I promised, and it is nearly free. It comes from the old tatami rooms of Japan, from a time long before vacuums, and it uses something you are pouring down the drain right now. Use tea leaves. The Japanese call the spent leaves shagara, and for generations they were the secret to cleaning a floor without filling the room with dust. Let me tell you how it survived. In the days of the Edo period, homes were floored with woven tatami, delicate and easy to scratch, and dry sweeping just kicked fine dust up into the air where it resettled minutes later. So people learned to save their damp, used green tea leaves, scatter them lightly across the floor, and then sweep. The moist leaves clung to the dust and hair, trapping it instead of scattering it. and dragged it all into the pile. The floor came up clean, and the green tea left behind a faint, fresh scent, because the same compounds in tea that make it good for you, the catechins, also fight odor and grime. This was everyday knowledge in Japanese households, passed from grandmother to mother, and most of the world outside Japan never heard a word of it. I almost did not try it. It sounded too old, too strange. But I had a pot of used green tea leaves sitting right there. So I squeezed them nearly dry, scattered a thin scatter across my hard floor, and swept. I could not believe it. The dust that normally puffed up and floated around just stuck to the damp leaves and gathered into the pile. No cloud in the air, no fine film resettling on everything an hour later. The floor looked cleaner than my vacuum leaves it, and the room smelled faintly, cleanly green. Now this is my routine. I save the leaves from my tea, keep them damp, and use them on my floors before I sweep. It cost me absolutely nothing because I was throwing them away anyway. It traps the dust that every other method just rearranges. And it works on any hard floor in any apartment with nothing but a broom and something you already have in your cup. A hundreds of years old habit, nearly lost to the rest of the world, and now it is yours. That is what these habits really give you. Not a cleaner house for a day, but a home that stops fighting you so your mind can finally rest inside it. You are not the kind of person who wants to keep spending money on bins and sprays that only add to the pile. You want a calm, intentional space that stays that way with less of your time, not more of it. That is exactly what these methods are built for. So tell me, which one are you trying first? I really want to know, so leave me a comment, because I read them all. Is it the shoes stopping at the door, the squeegee in the shower, or the used tea leaves on the floor that you cannot wait to test? Type it out for me right now and tell me which room in your home is fighting you the hardest, because that is the one I want to fix next. If a calmer, simpler home is what you are after, come join the rest of us who are quietly taking our spaces back from the clutter, one small habit at a time. Because next, I am opening up the one room where Japanese homes stay impossibly clean with almost no effort. And there is a single item hanging by their sink that I guarantee you have never thought to use. I will see you there. I live those habits. But a short video only scratches the surface. Inside my membership, the Tidy Home Circle, I pick up right where this video stopped. Ask me your own questions. And a real person, me, answers you myself. And you won't be alone. Home organizers like you are already inside. Just point your phone's camera at the code on the screen. Cancel anytime with one click.